Hello traders, in this video we'll keep talking about settings, the rest of them we have. But before we start, let's return to the previous topic about POI. And I'd like to mention that we extended our functionality and we moved labeling settings from overall POI settings to each specific one. So right now you can set labeling separately for last boss, for last POIs, for alt POIs. For example, I want to make my last boost uppercase, and you can see it became uppercase. Okay, now let's go to the next settings. It's discount premium. For your last boost, you're able to show the premium and discount zone. So the premium is always on top, the discount is always on bottom. You could specify the colors of it, or you could change the style. There are two ways of displaying it. First is a block as it is right now on a screen, or you could use the line style. So it just shows the single line. You could change the line style by adjusting this familiar settings. Also, if you use block styles, you could change the colors here. And of course, the toggles, lights and displays. There is an option for labeling, but it has only one setting and it affects your info box. For example, you can see that my last boss has a discount, so it means the price went all the way to the discount, and you can change it like upper or lowercase. Okay, let me hide it so that it doesn't bother our eyes. And right now we can switch to other settings, which is sweep and rates. They're pretty similar. The difference is sweeps liquidity with a wick, and rate sweeps liquidity with a rate. Oh, with a body. Do I have any rates here? Oh, yeah, I do. For example, this one, this liquidity was swept with this candle, but it's swept by body, so it's a rate. And you have a few options here. First, of course, it's labeling, which is really familiar for you. And then you could set the prefixes that are shown for your sweeps. You have abbreviation, just regular. Just pay attention to this one. You just have a regular prefix, then IDs, then QM. QM it's a Quasimodo pattern that shows two time frames. First one is a sweep time frame. For example, right now we are on 4 hours. And the second time frame is a confirmation time frame, which is breakout structure. As long as our system detects this QM pattern, it will substitute your labeling here. So you could use it. Then levels, it just adds what kind of liquidity, significant liquidity it's swept. In this particular case, ETH swept PDL. Then you could choose combination of them. Or you could choose any, so that the system tries to add whatever is going on with the sweep. And of course you have color styles, so you could change the color. We have bullish one here. The colors of your sweeps, and also the line style. But I guess it's clear, right? The same thing about rate. As I said, they're pretty similar, so there is nothing to really talk about. Next settings are equal lows and highs and cascade liquidity. They are pretty similar to each other in terms of concept, but it's all about how close your pivots are to each other. They have some small differences, and the difference is about distance and significance of each pivot. But in order to detect the closeness of those pivots, the system uses the window range within 100 bars, calculates min and max for your price, and relatively to this min and max, it calculates the percentage. By default, for equal lows and highs, we have 3% maximum. So this pivot and this pivot are within those 3%. And it's marked as a equal lows or highs. If it's bigger but less than 15%, it's marked as a Cascade liquidity. We have by default it's off for Cascade, but we can activate it. And you can see, for example, those two pivots, the distance between each other within those 15%, and it becomes Cascade liquidity for it. And also for bearish setups, you could see that previously we had only equal highs and here and here. And right now it's built the Cascade liquidity for all of them. You can always adjust the definition for your equal lows and highs and for Cascade liquidity by clicking this filter button. You could see this parameter K. So that specifies the deviation between those two pivots to treat it as an equal loss or high, or to treat it as a Cascade liquidity. The next difference between them is the significance of the pivot. For equal lows and highs, it disregards any significance, so whatever are close to each other, they are marked as equal highs and lows. But in terms of Cascade liquidity, you have pretty rich variety of settings you could specify in order to detect what significance of your pivots is. For example, you could change that are interested only those that are forming some structural swings, or just based on previous day, week, months, or session high-low sweeps, test FVG, F5 pivot. So for example, let's say I don't want this Cascade liquidity is treated as a cascade. Why? Because this pivot, for example, and this pivot, they did nothing. I could simply get rid of them by activating, let's say, I wanna only those that have any sweeps. Boom, you could see it disappeared because they did nothing. And let me go back. Okay. Also, you have your Cascade liquidity or equal lows and highs either swept or no. So they could be used as a base for your particular POE. And let's say you have this POE and this. Let me just show you bullish setups. So you could see this OB1, OB0 POE, and this POE is based on this sweep, which is also based on grabbing this Cascade liquidity. So it just shows here. You could use it in your alert system to emphasize the significance of your POE. So just pay attention to that. And of course, you could specify the different colors for your already swept liquidity. Let's say I have this bullish swept Cascade liquidity. I could specify different color. Let's say I wanna mark it as blue. Boom, you see it changed the color because this liquidity is swept. This liquidity is swept too, and this liquidity is not swept, so it uses the color for unswept liquidity. More than that, you could use different styles. Let's say I wanna see those horizontal lines that shows all the pivots. Probably it would be interesting for you in order to see where is the majority of your pivots. And you can see that the prices most likely will go here in order to grab all those liquidities, and here it's like a magnet for the price to go here, grab it, and do reverse. But it's a different story. It's not about this video. And of course you could change the styles of those lines. First of all, let me get rid of unswept levels. And for our lines, you could change the colors of it. Also, you could change the line style, so you could make it thicker, or just change the style. And also, let me just do it like this. Why I did? So you could see it. Also, you could add those IDs here or use prefixes. And the same thing for Cascade Liquidity. Okay, let's go to the next setting. Next setting is FVG, which are imbalances. First of all, let me hide this one just to see your imbalances. There are a few options you can adjust for your imbalances. Your imbalance could be completely unfilled, partially filled, or just full filled. And for all those cases, you could adjust the way they look like. You could see, for example, this particular imbalance. It was tested by this week. And you see this part and this part. And you can change the color of them. Let me change it for like filled one. Okay, I changed for partly filled imbalance this filled area as a red. The same thing I could do for virgin imbalances that were never tested. And you can specify like this, you see, right? But for example, if you want to handle those specific cases when your imbalance tested somehow, and you want to mark this unfilled area with different color, you need to activate this flag, and you can specify different color. Let me choose it for this particular kind of imbalance that was partially filled. And the same thing about fulfill. Do I have it? Oh, I do. For example, this kind of imbalance that is completely filled. And even for those, you could specify different colors. Let's say for every fulfilled, I wanna use like this color. Yellow, for example. Boom. Okay, so it's all about imbalances. It's pretty clear. And extend. Extend, it's how you extend your imbalances. You could extend it by the last week that tested this imbalance. Let's say you need to specify test in order to do that, and you can see it's stretched all the way to this particular week. Or you could extend it all the way to the real-time bar. So it means it's stretched to the last candle it's shown on a chart. And simply you don't use it. Just set it as extend off. Also for your field area, you could activate to behave it like your unfilled area. Let's say activate test, and you see it extends to the candles that fill this area, and the unfilled area is extended to the last candles that filled this area. Okay, it's about imbalances. Targets. Targets are nearest problematic levels that you could use to set your take profit orders. By default, your targets could be FVG, swings, or build-ups. By build-up, it could be equal low, equal high, or cascade liquidity. And in order to activate it, you use either this button or this button. For example, I want to see all the imbalances or all the targets for my current price action on the current time frame. So you see it marked this imbalance, then it marked this swing, then this swing, and so on and so forth. And if you activate Cascade. You activated equal lows and highs, and your target started drawing also them. So for you, when you are placing some position, you could activate this tool in order to see what your nearest targets are. Also, there is a setting in general, you probably do remember it, which are placed on general status bar, show targets. By default, it shows separate buttons for bullish and bearish, but you could set it like all in one, so that it shows both targets at the same time. Or you could use it separately, or you just simply can hide it in order not to even show it to you. Also, for your FVG targets, you could specify where to place that line, whether it has to be placed in the beginning of your FVG or in the end of the FVG or on some distance. So you could use it like where to place your target line. And the same thing for your build-ups. Also, you specify whether it has to show right on the first pivot or right on the last pivot or somewhere in between in percentage of the price deviation between those two pivots. Next thing in our list is previous day, week, month. They're just showing you where your previous day high and low, week high and low, and month high and low. It has just lineable style, so you can adjust the line width, the line style itself, give it colors for bullish and bearish, and of course specify which level you want to see. For example, if you want to see previous days or previous weeks or previous months. Then opens it shows when your day opens by UTC or day opens by New York time, when your week opens, and when your month opens. Right now we have activated New York open, so it says that New York opened at this price. You could activate, let's say, all of them, and you can see where they opened to. Yeah, they overlapped each other because they're close to each other. And also, if it's swept, it shows you that level is swept. Okay, and then sessions. Sessions are blocks that showing you Asia market, Frankfurt market, London market, or New York market. If the session is overlapped with other, it stops showing the previous one and just shows the current one. For example, if you see my Asia session stops here, then Frankfurt opens, then 1 hour later our London opens, it overlaps the Frankfurt, and then a few hours later New York opens and overlaps the London. Okay, with session you can change only the color of those boxes. Just give it what is acceptable for your analytic. You could see it like this. Boom, boom. And the last one is info box. They have only two colors here, and the colors, I'm sorry, and the colors of those captions. By choosing the color, you could set with what color to show those captions for bullish and for bearish. That's it. We went through all of those settings. Right now you are familiar with all of them. In any rate, if you have any kind of questions, you could simply ask us. In case we have some new changes, we will be recording some videos so that you can watch it and get familiar with new changes or new features. Okay guys, good luck. See you next video.